We're here at Haystack Campground, Crooked River National Grassland, affiliated with Ochico National Forest. Let's go check out the campsites. Here's our potable water station with the turnabout. It's our first campsite, campsite 2, after the camp host, which was on our left. Got your driveway, place to put your tent between these junipers, picnic table, fire pit, nice long driveway. Look at the views of Mount Jefferson straight ahead, framed by those junipers. Pretty gorgeous. I will say, as far as lot lines, you do have your neighbors straight ahead right here. Here's the main forest road. I will come also down here and show you about this. Very cool. Could put your tent right here or right here, but then you're shading over to your neighbors over here. So let's continue along. I'd say that one has got a good shot of Jefferson between the trees. Doesn't have shoreline access, obviously, and it's the first one right when you get here, so it's a little congested, but it's right next to the potable water, so that's convenient. On to the next one, presumably campsite number 3. And here is 3. Nice long driveway, and you got your picnic table, fire pit. I will say you've got 2 right there, so 2 and 3 are kind of right on top of each other. So I said picnic table, fire pit. Probably put your tent right here, straight around these 5 trees. Not a great view of the reservoir or of the mountain, so I would say 2 is better than 3 in my humble opinion. Got some bathrooms between 3 and 4. Speed limit 10 miles per hour, and we are on to the next one. Here is campsite 4. Decent driveway. You can already see your neighbor over there. Picnic table, fire pit. Great place to put your tent right there. That's outstanding. It's a bigger area than the last 2. I'm liking 4. 4's got some good spacing. 2 and 3 over there a ways a bit, and you've got a little bit of clearing. In fact, if you come down here, you got a money shot of Jefferson straight ahead. Look at that. That is pretty gorgeous. You do have a trail over to presumably 5, but good separation. So I'm actually liking 4. Out of 2, 3, and 4, 4 is my favorite so far. We're still very early in our campground review. You do have the restroom right there. That could be a plus and a negative. You have more foot traffic over there, but good access for yourself. Picnic table, fire pit. Definitely put your tent right there. So 4 is pretty good. There's sweet Jefferson. And let's keep going. It's interesting how this campground is laid out around this forest road. Hopefully it gives you some separation as far as the spacing. Here's presumably 5 as I walk down the road. Picnic table and fire pit. You can see Jefferson between junipers. I'm going to approach it from the sign like a vehicle. So here's our campsite sign, 5. Really nice long driveway. Great driveway. And then, yeah, picnic table and fire pit. This is great. You do have 4 right there as far as the lot line perspective, and the restrooms up there. Come down here, picnic table, fire pit. Another one of these that you can kind of get a shot of Jefferson right there. Look at that. Very beautiful. Good old Mount Jefferson, nestled between the juniper branches. And so 5's pretty high quality too, I gotta say, as we continue along. Yeah, so I'd say 5's pretty high quality. You have a trail over to, side trail over to 4, restrooms back there. Put your tent probably right there. So 4 and 5 are pretty decent. Ooh, look at those views of Jefferson from the parking spot of 5. That's nice. So I'd say 4 and 5 are decent. Gives you that grandiose overlook of the area, which I can appreciate. Now, the thing to know about Haystack Reservoir Campground, the East Shore, where we're at now, this isn't one of those places where you're going to get like a dream campsite right on the banks of a lake or a river or a creek. This isn't really a shoreline campground. So if you get that out of your mind and just kind of look at it for what it is, it's a pretty high quality as far as a high desert, juniper laden wonderland zone right next to a Haystack Reservoir with views of Mount Jefferson. So it's got some things going for it that make it special. Here is 6. Nice long driveway. Standing. We've got Haystack, which is 4,100 feet, and Gray Butte, which is 5,100 feet off on the horizon. Here's our picnic table and fire pit. So here's your vantage points from 6. You don't really have a money shot of the reservoir. You do have some views of Jefferson, although they're kind of obscured by the junipers. If you are a privacy-focused person, I would probably skip 6 because you got a straight line of sight to your friend right there, presumably 7. You got a couple down there and one over there. So this is what I call a fishbowl central campsite. I would personally not do 6. I thought 4 and 5 were both much higher quality without the fishbowl effect. So done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far. 4 and 5 are the winners. No like dream sites, but I thought 4 and 5 were serviceable. And here's our restroom. This place does have a lot of restrooms, which is nice. They weren't skimpy on the amenities, so I appreciate that. And come up to 7. Ooh, really long driveway. It's RV-esque. A little bit of a lip here, but should be fine if you go slow. So here's our picnic table and our fire pit. A lot of good flat area. Several places you could put a tent. You do have your friend straight ahead there, presumably 8. So that's horrible outlines with 8. And then if I come down here and walk up to the campsite, oh look, it's our friend number 6. 6 and 7 are right on top of each other. They're more of a group play. Now, if you grab 6 and 7 together, that would at least be a little bit better, but you still have the fishbowling of the ones across the way. This is not my favorite kind of camping. You got a tent, a picnic table there, picnic table there, picnic table over there, picnic table over there, and a picnic table over there. To me, it's sensory overload to have like 6 or 7 lines of sight. You do have the restroom right there, which is nice, but for me, this is a deal breaker. I wouldn't do this. This is too kind of camping in the middle of an inner. I always like the inner or the outers better than the inners. This has definitely got that inner dynamic, which to me is often a deal breaker. So not the best privacy lines, more of a base camp if you're going to be exploring the area. But if I was in 7, I probably wouldn't want to spend a lot of time in 7 because there's a lot better campgrounds and campsites in Central Oregon. Trust me, I live in Central Oregon and I know it well. I have many campground reviews available on this channel, and there's no reason to settle for an inner at a place like Haystack Reservoir, East Shoreline, if you don't need to. So probably wouldn't do 7. Here's 8. Again, we're on the inner, so that's already a strike against it. You got your friend down there and another friend down there. No breakage in your line of sight. So if you befriend the people down there, a game of catch could break out. You could be throwing a football back and forth, but that's not really my kind of camping. So it's kind of a deal breaker. We've got our friend down there. Here's our fire pit and our picnic table. Probably put your tent over here somewhere in these trees. So several good place to put a tent, but that right there is a deal breaker for me. This is not the best Haystack Reservoir has to offer. Serviceable, like all these are serviceable, but if you value privacy lines, then some of these inner sites are not great, keeping it real. It all depends what you're looking for, right? If you're just base camp focused and you just want 3 squares in a cot mentality and I'm going to be boating or hiking for 10 hours and what do I care, then all of these work. They're all high quality, good amenities, etc., etc. Picnic table, fire pit, bathrooms, serviceable, but not idyllic. Now, if you're looking for a destination campsite, I'm going to take my family and drive for hours, and this campsite's going to change my life. This is a dream campsite that my family's going to fall in love with, and I want to come back here every year as an annual family tradition. If that's how you roll, and that's kind of how I roll, then nothing here is probably going to meet that description. This is more of what I call a utility campground. Group sites straight, boat ramp to the left, day east to the left, campsites to the left. Keep going to the left because we are doing our loop of 24. Then I'll go down to the group sites. I believe there's 3 group sites according to my research. Let's keep on going. Straight ahead, you can see some parking. This is the day use area. I will say this area has got great infrastructure, like well paved, the asphalt, good painting of the parking. Like, it's a high quality area. They've built it out. They've obviously invested. So it doesn't have a dilapidated or shanty feel. It's high quality, premium. They've obviously put some love into it, which I appreciate. As we're walking the campground here, we're getting little views of this group pavilion site right here, day use site, and then also obviously straight ahead there, that is the boat ramp, boat launch. But right now I want to keep going on the campsites. We'll come back and look at that. Here is campsite 9. I will turn around and show you. Here's the main road over to the boat ramp and some group areas. So you could have a group right there, that covered area. You could hear boats backing up, beep, beep, beep. People right here, even more close in your business, as well as cars constantly going around there. Here's 9. So already that's a bit of a deal breaker for me. You got a bustle of activity in your proximity. Now, if you like being in the heart of the action, the center of activity, then that's a plus. But for me, I like the privacy and quiet solitude. So for me, it's a negative. So you got a row of campsites down there. Here's your picnic table and fire pit. They did a good job at least offsetting on the other side of the juniper to try to attempt some privacy. So props to that. However, for some reason they didn't think they needed a line of sight breakage between 9 right here and then 8 right there. So if you weren't best friends with 8 when you got there, they'll be your best friend by the end. So that's a little suboptimal. We do have a restroom straight ahead right here, so that's great. Close, commode access, which I appreciate. But again, it's a lot of infrastructure, 2 group or day use picnic sites. The cars going down or up to the boat launch and the sound of boats launching all day. So 9 is not a private site. It's a restroom past 9. And here's 10. 10 is at least on the shoreline. This is our first shoreline campsite, as much as you can get one here at Haystack Reservoir. I'll show you just for bearings. Here's 11 and 12. Here's 10. So we can park here, well paved. Got your picnic table, your fire pit. And you are on the other side of the boat launch ramp is straight ahead. So this is very open and exposed. Like, there's not much of a juniper line of sight breakage. Look, you got 2 day use picnic sites straight ahead, the covered ones, and then you got your boat ramp right there. So you'll literally see and hear boats launching beep, beep, beep all day. So that's a little suboptimal. This is about as shoreline as it gets in this area as far as camping. It's not like 10, 15, 20 feet from the shoreline, like let's say Princess Creek at Odell Lake. It's not one of those, but it does have a little trail. This is beautiful. Look at the views of Mount Jefferson. See, that's gorgeous. That's impressive. So you got a little side trail down to the shoreline, which we are currently taking. So this is the appeal of 10. 10's probably the highest quality so far as the location being on the shoreline. Look at that. That's pretty gorgeous. Beautiful Mount Jefferson with its helmet halo cloud thing going on, which I am digging. Looks like there's a meeting of the birds in the middle of Haystack Reservoir. I don't want to interrupt their proceedings. Yeah, very beautiful. I'm digging Mount Jefferson. Let me pan over and show you Haystack Reservoir. It's a pretty gorgeous zone. Partially frozen really on the other side of the lake. This is the more flowy side, but you can see some freezing up here close to me. Oh, this is beautiful. So that was 10. Really the most shoreline one we found. Shoreline with restrooms, but 2 day use sites and the boat ramp right next to you. So everything in life is trade-offs, costs and benefits. So if you want to be up on the shoreline and maybe take your chairs down to that beautiful beach, then the trade-off is it's just not going to be the most private, secluded campsite in the world, but it's okay. Probably worth that trade-off. So 10's definitely my favorite so far. I would probably stay at 10. It'd be worth it. Here's 11 and 12. They seem to be wishbone style. So here's 11. Got your driveway. Decent length, probably good enough for an RV. Picnic table, fire pit. You see up there, we already reviewed those coming down. Got a straight line of sight over there. Straight line of sight over there. This is Fishbowl City. I probably wouldn't do 11 or 12, keeping it real. Here's 12, the other half the wishbone. Picnic table, fire pit up there. Remember, here's 11. One over there, one over there, one over there. And presumably 13 or 14 right here. So yeah, this to me is the worst part of the campground, keeping it real. Just, I feel like the privacy is so poor that you're just waving the white flag on not even trying to get privacy here, and you're just doing a logistics play, a base camp play, which I get, especially if you need to be in the area and the campground's filling up, you just need a spot, then you're less picky. But 11 and 12 are certainly not target campsites. I wouldn't seek them out. Serviceable if you have to get them. Here's 13. Yeah, this one, there's one right next to 12. So our friend 12, our friend 13, and right up there is another one. So this is inner loop Fishbowl City. And one of the problems with these junipers, although I love this high desert, these junipers are gorgeous, they don't provide the canopy cover that like a national forest does. Ooh, the view of Jefferson, that's pretty gorgeous. So this one's got a great view of Jefferson. Maybe that's redeeming. Let me come over here, see what the view is like from the picnic table. Nice big area for your 10. There's your fire pit. Ooh, your friend's right there. Ooh. Yes, you don't really have the view from your picnic table. When I turn around standing in the parking, right about right here is where you get your view of Mount Jefferson. So that's a gorgeous view of Jefferson, framed by Haystack Reservoir, but it's not visible from your picnic table. So, you know, who wants to just stand in their parking spot? So probably still doesn't redeem it because the privacy lot lines are so atrocious. That's the way we're coming from. This is the way we're going. 14's a turnabout. Great for an RV if you are averse to reversing. Then 14 is the one for you because you could just pull in and pull out and never have to put it in R. Here's your picnic table and fire pit. I will say we have our friend right there, 15. So 15 and 14 and 10, I think, are the three shoreline here. But this one I think is maybe better than 10 because 10, which is straight ahead, was next to the boat ramp launch. This isn't. Now you could put your chairs right here. You got a money shot of Jefferson between the juniper. So I am digging this one. 14, this turnabout's gorgeous. You do have two picnic tables up there, but maybe you can block those. You do have your friend's 15 over there, but maybe that with right 10 placement and stuff, you can create a blockage of your line of sight. Here's your trail access down to Shoreline. Look at that, that's pretty gorgeous. So I will say the positives of this campground are immense. I mean, these views of Jefferson are world class, and the shoreline's gorgeous, this reservoir is gorgeous. So I don't know, this is pretty good campground overall, I'd say. Don't sleep on Haystack Reservoir East Shore. Like, not perfect by any stretch, but it's got some really great things going for it. So now I'm on the shoreline, looking at our friend Mount Jefferson. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Let's hike back up to 14. 10, 14, and 15 seem to be the shoreline plays. Again, none of them are right on the shoreline. This is in Princess Creek at Odell Lake, Deschutes National Forest. But so each one does require a side trail. But this is a high desert juniper laden wonderland zone. One of the problems you have in a high desert area like this is the junipers just don't create the breakage between the campsites that a proper forest does. If you got a pine and fir forest, it's going to have much better breakage between the campsites than a juniper and sagebrush forest because it's just not as thick of a denseness. So let's move on to 15. So here's 15. Again, part of the trio of shoreline in this area, 10, 14, and 15. If you want shoreline access, you want to be obviously closer to the shore. The thing I didn't like about 10 was it was right next to the boat ramp launch. I think 14, 15, a little bit more private. Nice long driveway. This is great. Picnic table and fire pit. Does have line of sight to 14 next to you, but you could probably mitigate that with where you put your tent and where you put some of your equipment. Probably break the line of sight and give yourself a sense of privacy. Looking back here, parking, picnic table, fire pit, and look at this, our own private shoreline access, exclusive to campsite 15, down to the shoreline of Haystack Reservoir. And one of the cool things about Haystack Reservoir is once you get down to the shoreline, it's all just straight money shot views of glorious Mount Jefferson. Today is January 21st, so it is a particularly white, snowy white marshmallow Mount Jefferson. And look at that. That is gorgeous. So you got your own views of Mount Jefferson. You can bring some chairs down here, maybe open up your Kindle, your iPad, or just the old-fashioned way, go to the library, get some books, sit down and do some reading and look up at the mountain. This is pretty gorgeous. And right now it's frozen because it is January. It'll be free flow in the summer. Let's hike back up to 15. 15 is not bad. I mean, 14 and 15 are pretty high quality. You know what I really love, and I strongly recommend, is if you have a group and you grab 14 and 15 together, now you are in business. See right there is 14. Here's the fire pit for 15 and 15. So if you grabbed 15 and 14 together, now you've taken over this entire swath of Juniper High Desert Wonderland. You've got two of the best campsites here and two access points to Haystack Reservoir. I really like that. 14 and 15 together, that's winning in my humble opinion. That's probably my favorite alignment of this campground so far. I think you could do 14 or 15 as a single family and be very happy, but I think if you grab them both as a group, I think that could be really awesome. Get a couple couples together, big family, some friends, whatever. Big group, grab 14 and 15, bring your chairs, go down to the beach, shoreline, just sit and relax and enjoy epic views of Mount Jefferson for night after night. That could be pretty magical. So that's my favorite alignment so far, keeping an open mind. Done 15, there's 24, so I got 9 left. And we will continue along. We'll see if there's any more shoreline or if that was it. But those were pretty nice. Kind of weird. 16's like tucked up here, almost like you're going up the road, but 17's over there. So 16 sneaks up this road a little bit, and then we'll come back down. Up there is the start of the campground. So here's 16, nice long driveway. It's an inner, but because of the spacing, it's actually pretty good on this side. You don't really have anybody in your business. 16 is actually surprisingly high quality for an inner. Obviously put your tent there on the left. That's the obvious intended design. So here's your picnic table, fire pit. 16 is actually decent. You got picnic table down there, but pretty blocked by the trees. So probably the only bad thing is you have the forest road zigging all the way around 3/4 of a circle around your site. It's a little suboptimal, but beyond the road, 16 is actually pretty good just because the way this place is situated has better than average lot lines. Here is 17. Another one of these nice long roundabout, turnabout parking situations. So if you're an RVer who doesn't like to put it in R, then 17 and 14 might be the ones for you because you never have to reverse. Here's your picnic table, fire pit. This is another shoreline one. You got your restroom right there. As far as lot lines, you have 16 right there, but there's tree breakage. So here's your fire pit and picnic table a lot of places to put your tent. You can put your tent over there, put it down there, straight ahead to the right of these trees, put it down here. There's a lot of places to put it. So this is pretty good, actually. Oh, you do have one down there. It's presumably 18. So every time I find one, I start getting excited. I notice there's another one right next to it, but that's the way life works, I suppose. But this is pretty good. This is 17. Let's come down here. You've got your private shoreline access to Haystack Reservoir. Of course, we have Mount Jefferson straight ahead. Absolutely gorgeous. So this is your shoreline. I actually like this shoreline. It's a little higher quality than maybe the 14, 15 shoreline. Doesn't have as much debris. You can come down here. Look at this. This is pretty gorgeous. I am not complaining about that. You got a money shot at Jefferson. You got Haystack Reservoir. I'll remind you it's January 21st, so it's a bit frozen. Normally it'd be a little bit more free flowy than this, but you can see right now that's just ice because it is like 20 degrees and freezing. Summer, this would be a nice flow. Wow, look at that. That is gorgeous. So this is our shoreline for 17. So 17's good. This campground, Haystack Reservoir East Shoreline, really does have a good row of campsites, 10, 14, 15, 17, and I'm thinking 18. So I got like 5 sites that all have their own shoreline access. You do have some good privacy over here. A lot of places you could put a tent. So 17's legit. You got 16 right there, which is a little suboptimal, but and you got the restroom straight ahead right there, so that's nice. Really nice long turnabout, great for an RV. Never have to reverse a single time. And here's our, say, third like turnabout campsite, 18. Restroom, turnabout, picnic table, fire pit. This is weird because like that's the road. There's the garbage, and then here's, it almost feels like it's a two-way road rather than just a campsite's parking. Here's our picnic table, fire pit. And oh, this is very nice as far as, oh, you got one up there. So there's always one lurking straight ahead. This is nice. Put your tent really right there. Iceberg dead ahead. And then, so you got 17 over there. I think 17 and 18, just like 14, 15 are a good play. You can get them both. Now you've taken over this area. Again, I put my tent right there. You can come this way, and this is your privet shoreline access. Very privet indeed. And here is your mountain view of Mount Jefferson. So look at that. Panorama. You got all of the usual suspects of Central Oregon are glowing for us. A little bit of a halo helmet effect on the mountains from the cloud cover, but that's pretty gorgeous. Here's the rest of our access, and we're just down to Haystack Reservoir Shoreline. Again, it's frozen right now because it's January 21st, winter. Very beautiful. So I'm really digging, let's walk back to 18. I'm really digging 17 and 18 individually and together, just like 14 and 15 individually and together. I think those 4 are better than 10 because 10's right next to the boat ramp, launch, and a couple of day use sites. I'd probably scratch 10 off the list. I'd say 14, 15, or 17, 18, really kind of the magic pocket. Here's where I put my 10 of Haystack Reservoir Campground. If you could get 14, 15, 17, or 18, then you're probably going to be happy. It's probably the best this campground has to offer. I will point out here at 18, you do have that 10 right up there. So I don't know, that's probably 19. You do have the restroom access and garbage right there, so it's all very convenient. Okay, so here is 19. As you can see, the road goes on to 2021 that way. 19. Okay, you've got your garbage and restroom. There's the main forest road. And then you've got picnic table, fire pit, clearly straight ahead, cleared out area for nice big tent, nice parking. Nothing really special about this one. I mean, why would you want to be there if you could be down with your own private access to Haystack Reservoir? So 19 is an inner. It kind of looks down on 18. I'm probably not the biggest fan of 19, keeping it real. So here's 20. Got your driveway. There's a restroom next to 19 straight ahead. Picnic table, fire pit. Nothing really special about this one. Probably put my tent the other side of the picnic table straight ahead. I don't know why you'd want to be this one. It's a pretty high desert area, but I'd rather be over there. See that picnic table? That's 18 and beyond that 17. I'd rather be up against the shoreline personally. So I probably wouldn't do 20. Serviceable base camp, but beyond that, here's 21. Great RV style turnabout parking. No reverse necessary. Let's come down here. You got your picnic table and fire pit. This is probably better than average shade cover. Look up at all these junipers. It's the first thing I noticed when I walked over here. This is more shaded than some of the other ones. But so yeah, picnic table, fire pit. You've got the main forest road and your turnabout. Pretty slanted. So it looks like there's a little bit of a trail here. I'm assuming this goes down to the shoreline. So you do have your own side access trail to the shoreline, but it's pretty steep. And this whole area, like you feel like you're falling. Like, I don't know if it comes through, but that is very steep. So this could be a fun one if you've got like older kids, you know, not like real young kids, but older kids that want to kind of have a fun adventure zone to play. This could be good. I probably wouldn't bring young kids here because this would be too steep and dangerous, but I could see a scenario where this one could work, but it doesn't seem to me to be the ideal site. Way too steep for most people. If you're an older person, got not the steadiest walker, you definitely don't want to take this one because if you go down there, that's very dangerous. You could easily fall, and that's not good. So I'm not a big fan of this one. I probably wouldn't do this one. It's an interesting play. I would say this is perfect for people with young teens, something like that, where they still have an adventure spirit, want to run around the forest, and the slant into the forest is a fun obstacle and not like a safety concern. You know, that age, that's what I would do with this one. Nice long driveway. Here's your main forest road. That's 21 over there. So you got your driveway, you've got your junipers, good shade, picnic table, fire pit the other side of it. A couple different places you can put your tent, either to the left straight ahead or on the other side of the fire pit. So this is an inner, not my favorite kind. Considering there's like 4 or 5 on the shoreline, I'd rather be there. So I will also point out you got your friend right here. So not good privacy lot lines. I would personally steer clear of 22. Again, a serviceable base camp if you're doing other stuff, but I wouldn't want to spend my whole day at 22 personally. Here's 23. We're right near the end there. 24 is the last one. So nice roundabout for an RV. It's kind of the RV section. Never have to reverse your vehicle. And I like the lot lines of this one. This is a higher quality one. Let me show you. There's kind of the end of it. And here's your main camping zone. You put your tent straight ahead. Nice big flat area, picnic table, fire pit. Oh, and you got beautiful views. I really like this one a lot, actually. This might be a hidden gem. I really like this one a lot. So here's your picnic table, fire pit. There's your money shot of Jefferson. Kind of obscured by the reservoir, but that's okay. And then you've got your own shoreline access. Let's take this, why not? Get the full experience. It's kind of steep, so if you're not sure-footed, that could be an issue for you. And yeah, a couple different steep sections that you kind of got to watch your footing. So if you are not fleet of step, then this could be a challenge to come down here. You might only do it once and then feel like I don't need to do that again. But look at that. That is gorgeous. Oh, that is gorgeous. So we are right on the shoreline, the banks. Little meeting of the birds here on the frozen Haystack Reservoir. Big bird zone. And again, it's January 21st. It's about 20 degrees, so this is frozen. Money shot of white marshmallow Mount Jefferson. So that's very interesting. You do have your own access. I will walk back up it. This is probably the most harrowing access of all of the campsites. There's 2 pretty steep sections. So If you're not good with your feet, then I probably wouldn't book this one because this is far too dangerous. Likelihood of you hurting yourself going up and down this few times is pretty high. So, but if you're nimble, I'm pretty impressed by 23 because it's down here, a little offset from the road. Put your tent right there. Gives you a little bit better view. Like, look at that. Picnic table, fire pit, Jefferson. So 23 is actually a really high quality site. I really like 23. Pretty good privacy lot lines. Here's your own roundabout. So 23 is a winner. 23 is top tier. So I gotta say, I think 23 might be one of the best sites here. If you're looking for more of like a solo, single party, private, secluded play with a money shot of Jefferson from your picnic table, this might be the one. I liked 14, 15, 17, 18, but they were all kind of paired off in two groups of two. They had more of a flat access to Haystack Reservoir as far as a side trail. This one, as you can see straight ahead, is a little bit more steep. So you need to be sure footing to be able to go down that. I mean, I just did it. It's not that hard, but definitely want somebody who's nimble. If you have issues with your footing, then I probably wouldn't take 23. But if that's not a factor, then I think 23 might be the best single party, secluded family play with views of Mount Jefferson and still with your own side access to Haystack Reservoir. If you're doing a group thing, I really like 14 and 15 or 17 and 18. I think all four of those would also be good individual campsites. However, you just got to be aware that you got one next to you and you got to situate your gear in a way that creates a blockage of your line of sight. You got your nice long driveway, picnic table, fire pit. This is an inner and you got 22 right next to you. So I probably wouldn't do this one. You got your fire pit, picnic table, driveway. Down there's 23. There's 22. This is a bit fishbowled. It's an inner. There's really no reason to be at this one when there's 5 or 6 good ones like the one straight ahead 23 that are closer to the shoreline. It's serviceable. It's got the amenities, but it's certainly not a destination site. As the sun's starting to peek through these dark gray ominous clouds. Pretty beautiful. We are approaching the boat ramp launch. Here's a couple high quality day use sites. You can see it's covered, so that's nice. Inclement weather. It's got a fire pit, picnic table cover, fire pit, picnic table cover. There's a garbage in between them. So pretty high quality infrastructure here. They were not cheap. They did a high quality job in all of their development of this very high quality area. Haystack Reservoir East Shore Campground. So here is our boat ramp launch. Straight ahead, you can see multitude of boat parking. Day use, $7. Recreation pass is not valid, so it's $7. And here's a sign: boaters, water level may fluctuate overnight. Please use discretion when mooring your boat. Excellent. Now here is our boat ramp launch. Today is January 21st, 2025. So it is freezing, it's in the 20s. This is a frozen reservoir right now. A lot of it is ice, so you're not getting the normal flow you would get. Look at that. Look at those views of mighty Mount Jefferson. That is gorgeous. Particularly gorgeous with this frozen reservoir. Again, it's in the 20s and it's freezing, my friend. Got my gloves on. And look at that. Oh, this is beautiful. I've got to say, I've seen a lot of birds flying in this area. This is a heavy bird zone. Huge swarms and flocks of them. Here's our shoreline, vast shoreline on the reservoir. I know it's a reservoir, it feels like a lake, but technically it's a reservoir. There's our gorgeous views of our friend Mount Jefferson. January 21st, the mountain is bright white, marshmallow white, glowing, effervescent. And the majority of the lake's frozen. This side I'm on is frozen. The other side you can see a little bit more of a flow. This is colder on this side. And there's a good demarcation. You can see on the left here, totally frozen. On the right, it is flowing. So we are in winter proper. Let me show you the sun. With the sun beaming over Haystack Reservoir. Here on the left side, we've got the frozen portion. And then you've got the flowing on the opposite side. Seems to be the colder side for whatever reason. And you've got Mount Jefferson off in the distance. Probably the biggest draw and appeal of this reservoir is these money shots of Mount Jefferson on the horizon and a bunch of other mountains here of Central Oregon, the usual suspects. Pretty gorgeous zone really tucked in here, kind of a hidden secret, a well-kept secret not a lot of people know about. Haystack Reservoir. I will also give you a pro tip. Right now I'm on the east shoreline, but on the other side, the north shoreline is actually a spectacular place to catch a morning sunrise. I caught it this morning. You'll see in this playlist the site of the salmon orange sunrise, basically reflecting off the icy, frozen Haystack Reservoir. Absolutely spectacular morning sunrise. So I come camp here and hang out and sit on the shoreline, or actually go boating and go out on the water and just look across at Mount Jefferson. Oh, this is beautiful. I can say, having been here for about a little over an hour, there's a lot of birds in this area. Huge flocks keep landing and congregating and flying off. Makes sense. Good midway point. This is probably where their Google Maps takes them. Oh, with the sun beaming through these gorgeous juniper trees. Here's a panoramic look of the infrastructure. We got 1 day use site, 2 day use sites covered, both with their own little fire pits and garbage between them. And here is our boat ramp launch. Day use area, $7 fee. It appears recreation pass is not valid. They want the $7. Boaters cautioned about fluctuating water levels. And this is really well built out. Here's our parking. Really pretty good size boat parking area. Here's the sign for group site number 3. First, I'll show you the parking. You see you got 2 here that say 3. There's a yellow number. Here's a 3rd and a 4th. So you got 4 parking spots that say 3. There is a ADA site across the way. There's the restroom. You can see next to you got the 4 for 2. So each one of these has 4 designated parking spots. We come around here and see 2 is right next to us. And look over at this sun beaming across our high desert wonderland. So you got stairs down to your group site. You got 3 picnic tables, covered pavilion. Looks like straight ahead there is shoreline access. So if you want to go sit at the shoreline of Haystack Reservoir, I'd bring some chairs. You've got, it looks like a grill. Again, I'll look over at the sun. Probably the piece de resistance of this one is you do have epic shots of Mount Jefferson. So if that is part of the appeal of you coming here, I would pick 3 over 2 and 1. It definitely seems lot lines to have the best money shot view of glorious Mount Jefferson. So that is group site number 3. So here's group campsite 2. You can see we have 4 parking spots with the yellow 2 on it as the sun beams across our high desert wonderland. Got a restroom there as well as a ADA parking. And let's take our trail down to 2. So this one does not have stairs. 3 does have stairs, so that may or may not be meaningful. I guess it does have a couple stairs here, but there's multiple access points. You don't have to do stairs. Here's our fire pit. Here's our trio of picnic tables. Here's our pavilion. One thing I will note is group site 2, where I'm standing in, does not have the money shot of Mount Jefferson. Then our friend next to us, group site 3, does, that pavilion across the way. So if part of the appeal of you coming here is having a money shot of Mount Jefferson, I would definitely do 3 over 2. 2 is great, but it just doesn't have the lot lines, the angle. It's bad luck of the draw that 3 has. And this one you can avoid stairs. So here is group site 1. You've got 4 parking spots here. You can see the yellow 1 painted on these 4 parking spots designated for you. Come around here. This is your access point. You can see Jefferson straight ahead is kind of obstructed by the canyon edge. So this isn't a great money shot of the mountain. If you want mountain views and you have a group site, definitely do 3. It's the only one of the 3 that has a direct shot of Jefferson. Here is our pavilion, covered obviously. Take a look at that. You got 3 picnic tables, good shade. Looking back at the restroom, there is an ADA parking spot next to it. And our grill, fire grill, is over here, surrounded by rocks, so that's nice. I will note that there's a side trail. There's 2 and 3. This one does not have the money shot of Jefferson. As you can see, it's blocked. There's a pretty high quality bench straight ahead, but it's a shared access point to it. It's not exclusive. You can see we've got our own side trail to it, but it matches up to the Pavilion 2 side trail. So it's a very high quality bench you can sit at and look over at Currently frozen Haystack Reservoir. Very beautiful. Loving the sun lighting up this high desert wonderland, the sagebrush and junipers. Can I interest you in a frozen reservoir? Look at this, this is beautiful. For some reason, this is definitely the most frozen side. I mean, look at how frigid that is. The other side of the reservoir, Haystack Reservoir, it's actually flowing, free flowing. And then over here, it's just like we're in a little swath of the Arctic. Look at this, this is beautiful. Very, very frozen, my friend. As we leave this frozen section of Haystack Reservoir, let's go back by our very high quality bench on our left, and straight ahead is group sites 1 on our left and 2 and 3 on our right. This is a little side trail shared by 3 group campsites here on the edge of Haystack Reservoir Campground, East Shoreline. So you got 3 pavilion style group campsites. Each one has 4 designated parking spots with a yellow number on them, making it clear that they are for that campsite. Got a restrooms as well as ADA parking, a little bit of overflow parking, and this is beyond the individual campsite section of Haystack Reservoir East Shore. There's 24 sites. It's also a boat ramp launch zone with a lot of parking, a couple day use sites there. I gotta say, Haystack Reservoir is pretty well built out as far as a destination campground. Definitely the highest quality of the infrastructure here at Haystack Reservoir, kind of the beating heart of the area. I'm fortunate to be here January 21st. We're at low enough elevation that there's no snow and I can just walk around it. Got the beautiful Haystack Butte across the way, namesake for this campground. I believe the summit of that is 4,023 feet. Also in this area, we've got Great Butte, which is like 5,100 feet. So if you ever wonder why it's called Haystack Reservoir, it's because it's the base of Haystack Rock, which is right across the way. Okay, I just finished walking the 24 sites here at Haystack Reservoir East Shore Campground. Here are my final review thoughts. So I think there's 6 good sites, exactly what you'd expect looking at the map along the shoreline: 10, 14, 15, 17, 18, 23. I think 10 was the worst because it's up against the boat ramp launch and a couple day use sites, so I scratched that one out. On the other end, 23, probably the best for a single family who just wants to sit at their picnic table, look up at Jefferson. It does have a side trail down to the shoreline, but it's much steeper, so you need to be sure-footed to go down that. If you're not sure-footed, I would not do 23. 17, 18 is a great group play cluster. 14, 15 is a great group play cluster. I liked 17, 18 better than 14, 15, but those 4 are probably your 4 premium shoreline campsites. You could take any one of them individually. As I said, 17, 18, 14, 15 both kind of feel clustered as duos, but if you just are mindful of where you put your tent and create line of sight breakage, you can make either one of them work, any of those 4 work as a single family high quality site. So those are the 6 that are best. There's a lot of inner ones that are pretty fishable that I wouldn't recommend. I'd say if you're coming here, it's a great base camp to explore the area, and Haystack Reservoir is gorgeous and views of Mount Jefferson world class. 15 has its own shoreline access to the right of the tree. You can see it as a break in the sagebrush down to shoreline. So here's 15. There's your fire pit, and then over there's 14. So 14 and 15 are kind of a cluster of awesomeness of 2 nearby shoreline campsites. So 14 and 15, if you grab those together, now you've taken over this whole area. I think I like 17 and 18 better, keeping it real. I thought 17 and 18 are better than 14, 15, both as a duo or individually. So I would say here's 18 with its own private access down to Haystack Reservoir shoreline. I'd say if you grab 18 and 17 next to it, either individually, and just be conscious of how you lay out your gear, set up your tent, etc. for privacy lines, or if you grab 18, 17 together, that's a really good play. See, there's 17, there's 18. It's kind of a 2-pack They each have their own shoreline access, both have their own turnabout parking and their own shoreline trails down to the shoreline. But if you grab 17 and 18, then now you've taken over this entire swath of high desert wonderland, juniper laden sagebrush, and you've got this whole section of the reservoir. So here's 17. I gotta say 23 might be one of my favorite ones. It's offset, it's got its own turnabout, and it's offset from the main road, so it's got better privacy lines. Also isn't paired with another one like 14 and 15 and 17 and 18 are. If you're just looking to sit at your picnic table and enjoy gorgeous views of Mount Jefferson, then 23 is probably your best site. I'd definitely put my tent right there. Again, it's got the turnabout, which is nice for like an RV. So this is great, just picnic table action. I will say that it does have its own side trail down to the shoreline, but it's pretty steep. So if you have issue with your footing, this might be a little dangerous for you. 14, 15, 17, 18 have more of a flat approach to Haystack Reservoir. So if you're all about going to the reservoir back and forth, then one of those four is probably better, because this is going to be hard to go up and down multiple times a day. But if you're more focused just on sitting here and enjoying the views of Jefferson, then 23 might be the best single party, solo, single family privacy play. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is crazy. That is world-class legend. Can I interest you in a wonderland zone, my friend? Look at this. This is crazy. This is the North Shore Fishing Pier, Haystack Reservoir, Ochiko National Forest, Crooked National Grassland. And look at how beautiful this is. Look at this, my friend. This is absolutely spectacular. You got the frozen Haystack Reservoir, and you've got the beautiful salmon sunrise, quintessential morning sunrise here in Central Oregon. Got the flow of part of the reservoir, and the rest is a frozen sheet of ice. I certainly wouldn't walk across that. I think you would break right through, my friend. Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. It's a pink salmon, orange marmalade. Absolutely beautiful. This is legend, my friend. I'm really glad I stopped to capture this. This is truly special.